Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian bringing you the commander, the overall chapter master of the Unhallowed Chaos Space Marines, who are a traitor Space Marine chapter, and if you've been paying attention, that's mainly what we've been doing videos about recently. So this is Zaha Nazokai, who is the chapter master of the Unhallowed Space Marines. He was the chapter master at the time of the Abyssal Crusade, when his chapter were condemned to death. So this is the model I've come up with. It's actually a composite of various bits and bobs. I've kind of went a little bit mad while making it, and it took me a while to put it together. It's slightly spider-esque, it's covered in little claws and pincers and things, and it's particularly Slaneshic because Slanesh does occasionally give gifts to its followers, not as much as Nurgle, but and probably not as much as Khorne. He's got a little mouth down there, which is quite disgusting actually, and that's the guy himself. Quite disgusting. He's clambering over the wreck of Imperial Fist Land Raider, which is quite nice. There it is, this little Imperial Fist Land Raider that he's trampled over. And he has a ancient, or not so ancient, but this is a sort of standard combat weapon used by the Space Marines back during the Abyssal Crusade, so not that out of the ordinary, but it is now. It's quite archaic now, which is basically a type of ranged weapon mainly used by the custodies these days, which has a storm bolter attached to it to enable you to shoot and stab at the same time. It's a power spear basically. The sort of thing that the Space Wolves totally disapprove of. Spears are horrible things. They say if you're going to use a spear, you may as well use a gun, because there's no difference. Right, so rule wise, he has a bolter which fires 24 inches, so it's a standard weapon, who cares. He's also equipped with the Soul Piercer, which is a type of blade. It is just a power blade, nothing special about it. It has strength of 8 though, so that's pretty good. And if you get a 6 to wound, you do d6 wounds with it. So then again, you're going to get a 6 to wound. So it could be a really good weapon, or it might not be. You know, you got to roll your dice. He's also got piercing claws and a lightning claw. Lightning claws on this hand here. Currently holding 2 severed heads, because that's the sort of guy he is. And he's got the lightning claw as well, which is a lightning claw. It's strength 4, so nowhere near as good as a power fist, but it's got -3 AP and D3 damage, and you reroll 2 wounds. So that's a pretty good weapon. Pretty good weapon. However, the piercing claws, which are the claws here, which are the Slaneshic demonic sort of addition to the model, they are an automatic, 2 automatic attacks which are separate from the normal attacks the model does. There's quite a few Slanesh things that do the same thing. The sort of additional claws are things that operate separately to the actual model. I've given him a sort of human-esque face, but his face has sort of gone grey with age, and he's sort of tied into his armour there, so he's got quite a sad expression on his face. Poor chap. Had a bad life. It was unfortunate. So he's the chapter master, which means any troops within 6 inches who roll a 1 to hit will re-roll. So he boosts their ability to fight in combat. Not too bad considering he's Slanesh. Slanesh get to attack first, so any attacks that fail that get a 1, he gives them a re-roll, so that's pretty good. He has a Sigil of Corruption, which is a 4+ invulnerability save, which is there. So that's pretty useful as well. That's a nice little addition, a nice little invulnerable save, which is always good. And I also mentioned the Piercing Claws, which is 2 additional attacks on top. So who is he? Well, Zahir was the chapter master at the time that the Invictus, as they were called then, were denounced as heretics. You've probably already heard this story, so I'll skip forward 2 minutes if you don't want to hear it again. But for the newcomers, they were denounced as heretics. They were their chapter and another 29 other chapters were ordered to go on the Abyssal Crusade. They went on the Abyssal Crusade, were ambushed because the Inquisitor was a traitor, and then hilarity ensued. This particular chapter lost most of its ships. They ended up on a world entirely made of iron, which was strange and unusual, and they decided to try and ride the world out of the warp because back in those days of 40k lore, when the Great Rifts were created into the warp, some planets were they would move in and out of the warp at random intervals, and given that this particular chapter were a chapter used to keep an eye on these planets and used to go down there and steal stuff from the planets whenever they came out of the warp, rather than going into the warp, they were going to ride the planet out, but they were betrayed by the Adeptus Mechanicus, which is an even longer story, which I'm not going to go into at this point because it would just take too long. So they ended up turning to Slanesh. Slanesh was the god that sort of helped them out in that particular situation. And although they're not... no, that's weird. No, they're not. They wouldn't consider themselves dedicated to chaos, but they are dedicated to Slanesh. So they are dedicated to chaos, but they don't consider themselves dedicated to chaos. They consider themselves true Imperials, and they consider the Empire to be the traitors, not the organs who work for the Empire to be traitors. As far as they're concerned, they are loyal to the Empire, and they want to help humanity by getting them to worship Slanesh and improve themselves the way that Slanesh improves people, with claws and spiky bits and pain and things, the sort of stuff that Slanesh does. That's what they want to do. They want to help. They want to be nice to people. They want to enable them to grow extra horns out of their face, and they're nice, kind, considerate Chaos Space Marines. Unlike Khorne, who just want to kill people. So that's the model in its entirety. It took quite a bit of building. I think it took about 3 days to build in total because I kept changing what I was doing with it. I knew what I wanted to do, but there's no model available, so I had to sort of work with the stuff I had. Most of the bits are from the Chaos Space Marine box. They're spares from the Chaos Space Marine box. He's still using the backpack. Even though he's actually living off of this creature here, so I should guess he wouldn't need the backpack to get power, but maybe his armour still is power armour. And there he is. I particularly like all the little, on the underbelly, there's lots of little claws and things on the underbelly and teeth and things like that, because it's quite disgusting. Yes, I'd say this is your favourite model, isn't it, dear?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this is her army, not mine. She likes this sort of thing, sort of spiders and claws and things like that. Right, you're going to see him in combat pretty soon, so I hope you like the video. Please click a like, leave any comments in the comments section, or questions or anything like that. Subscribe and let me know what you think of the model. Thank you very much for watching. I'll put a gallery at the end as usual. And this has been Imperator Vespasian bidding you a good day, so good day.